Hello and welcome. To his fans, he's already a music legend, and his rich African sound has led top Western artists to seek him out for collaborations. His music gives a voice to the traditions and stories of Africa and often touch on social issues in his homeland. This week on 101, meet Senegalese singer and activist Youssou N'Dour. Youssou N'Dour first began performing at the age of 12, playing with a variety of groups in his hometown Dakar in Senegal. He went on to form his own band as a teenager and experimented by fusing traditional African music with rock elements. N'Dour's work became popular around the world during the 1980s and led to collaborations with Dido, Sting, Peter Gabriel, Paul Simon and Bruce Springsteen, to name just a few. In 2005, he received a Grammy Award for Best Contemporary World Music Album. The title track of that album, called Egypt, expressed his devotion to the Muslim faith. As a UNICEF Goodwill Ambassador, he's been active in addressing social causes in Africa for many years, using his music as the vehicle for his message. Youssou, it's great to catch up with you again.
Thank you.
And you know, you seem as much an activist for Africa as you are an African musician. So I was wondering nowadays, where do you focus most of your time? Which of the two do you really spend most of your time doing?
Yeah, one thing's really simple is, all my action follow my career. Like, when I'm coming to New York or play to Abidjan, try to have sometimes do a press conference, tell people about, all my action, all the things happening where I'm really involved.
You can combine the two.
Yes, I think it's very important, to keep all my schedule like, the standard schedule, touring, doing an album, but behind there's a lot of space to talk about, all these things.
Now, I'll concentrate on your music, but before I do, I want to just touch on something. It was quite a strong political action you took. Back in 2003, you were due to do a fairly extensive tour of the USA, and you cancelled that apparently because you were unhappy with the way the US was handling the Iraq situation. So I was wondering about that, what had made you do that, the kind of message you were sending, and perhaps if there was any backlash from your US fans.
Yeah, I think, after that, a lot of people I met, talk about, they say maybe it was better if you do the tour and talk to people. And I say, it was emotionally, big decision in my career.
We'll get onto your activism as well in a moment and the stuff you're doing with the UN and so on. But let me touch on your music. Now, over your career, you've done such a diverse style of recording, so many different types. How would you describe what your music style is now?
Yeah, I think I have two ways. The first style of my music is mbalax, called mbalax, coming from Senegal. Wolof is the main language in Senegal. Senegal has 10 million people. Everybody speaks in Wolof. And the rhythm coming from the Wolof also side, the griot side, is kind of, really complicated for, overseas people, people who doesn't live in Senegal, because the one is really behind is something really original, but
like offbeat rhythms and things.
Yes, yeah? And during my career, when I grow, I meet a lot of great people, a lot of great musicians, a lot of great country, a lot of great sound, and I have in my mind, to open something like what we call world music today. It's kind of you bring little of your style and meet different style, different sound, and I think 82, something like that, when I was in England the first time, I met Peter Gabriel and a lot of people around, and meeting what I say meet is bring my music and they bring my music and we create what we call world music.
When you write your music, when you compose, who do you have in mind? Who do you write for?
Yes, very difficult time because sometimes I'm thinking about what's happening in my society in Senegal, like locally, and the other thing is I'm still thinking about the world. And I have two-way, you know, like the music, two-way to write the song. Sometimes I'm talking to the world, sometimes I'm talking to my people locally, but behind them, you know, you can feel how Africans feel about love, about peace, friendly, solidarity, something like that.
You sing in a number of languages too. So do you find that you can express yourself more in one language than another? Do you find different emotions with different languages?
In the beginning, I'm a big fan of English language, you know, because the sound and because of, you know, a lot of things behind. I think it sounds great in English. I try a lot in English, yeah, in the end, I think really language is the music. It's the music, it's the sound. And I think I'm better in my language, Wolof language. I can explain a lot of things in my language better than the other language. And you can get the message from the rhythm or the emotion, and you know, the development of new technology can help you to know exactly what I'm talking about, and people buy records to know exactly, you give a lot of information. I think it's better to have different language, but I think it's more powerful to use your own language.
In your music career over the years, you've had a lot of diversity in your style too, and in 2003, for example, you went down the sort of religious path, or religious tones with the Sant Allah album. And I was wondering how much religion features in your life, how much a part of your life it is, and how you regard religion and rituals.
First, I really want to mention, you know, this album, you know, start in 98 in Senegal during the Ramadan. I was thinking about playing music, you know, follow us when we do, you know, the end of the day, when
The
we
fasting
do,
and everything,
the
yeah, the
fasting,
break
and
of fasting, yeah.
you know, I was thinking about this kind of music.
You keep the rituals then, you keep Islamic rituals.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I'm born Muslim, and I came from Senegal. I mentioned 10 million people, and 95% are Muslim. And you know, the approach is really something maybe different, how we approach the religion. At the same time, it's the same religion, and the way I was trying to explain is talk about our guide who create what we call brotherhood in Senegal. Just talk about story, the city they create, and all the movement to promote Islam. And it was personal first. Second thing, it was, you know, something like Muslim is not only Arab world, it's worldwide religion. And the main thing was the first time African music, you know, together from Egypt to Senegal, something like, you know, bringing all these instruments together, all this way to sing. It was really great experience.
Youssou, let me take you through your childhood and describe for me your memories in Medina, the old center of Dakar where you were born. And what are your strongest memories of that time as a child?
Walking on the streets, listen to some great music on the radio. We were, you know, just having one station, radio station, national one, playing sometimes on Sunday, music coming from Nigeria, Fela Kuti or Manu Dibango from Cameroon. And I was walking a lot, playing football on the streets, and having great connection with my grandmom. It was someone who tried to take me out to all this griot traditional, to move to school and having different way.
Let me ask you about the your first performances, because you started at the age of 12. You're a young
Yes.
performer, and your father disapproved.
Yes.
You more or less ran away from home to perform in Gambia the first time, not telling them. And how did you win him over?
Yeah, I think, you know, my father was trying to keep me on the school, you know, or something like that, because my father is not griot. My mother are griot. And yeah, I'm his first son, you know. He's coming from the countryside. He didn't have a chance to go to school, you know, to grow. And he was trying to keep me in school. And, you know, the vibration I was you know, getting from my mom, you know, make me sometimes nervous.
How did you tell your father, this is what I want to do? How did you persuade him?
Yeah, the first time, you know, I've been to Gambia with my friends, you know, he bring me back with the police, you know, he sent police and they bring me back. And one day I say to my mom, I have an idea. And she said, what's your idea? I say, we have a school called École des Arts. It's a school for art. And I'm going to go propose my father to go there. I can keep all my school things, and at the same time I do music. And when I go to my father, tell him I want to go to the school of art, you know, he said, yes. I mentioned school of art, you know, like, you know, the art is really behind. And he said, yes. And I go there, you know, from there, you know, really, I think months later, he understood, you know, it's about music.
What would you be doing now if he had said no?
You know, I remember one words, you know, my father was saying to me, I want you to be, you know, I want to come to see you in your office, something like that. He was really thinking about, you know, office or something, lawyer or doctor.
Manager, yeah.
And the first day I create my office, my management office, I bring my father, I say, this is my office. You know, he was very happy. And I think really he's, you know, involved, helping me a lot, because he was afraid about, you know, alcohol, drug, or something like that, you know. And
you managed to stay away from all that?
Yeah, I think really he helped me a lot. You know, sometimes, you know, when you're doing career like mine, you know, sometimes you're very close to
temptation.
Yeah, temptation. And I think I'm afraid about my father and say,
Youssou, don't go away. We're going to take a short break. One-on-One returns in just a moment.